All right. We are live from downtown Youngstown at Youngstown Studio. Welcome to episode 3 of mY-TOWN'S Food Talk, and I am super stoked for this one. When I first started this was one of the ones that I for sure wanted to get on board here. And once you hear the story of the amazing thing that these 3 gentlemen in front of me are doing, you're going to see why I was excited to have them on. So I got the 3 brothers behind the famous, Youngstown famous, probably one of the hottest spots in town, Red Rican food. So let's just go down the line here and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, so I'm Jeremy Morales. I'm the youngest brother.
I'm Jonathan Morales. I'm the Red Rican, the middle brother.
And the oldest brother, Carmelo Morales.
So you guys, I mean, we have a lot to talk about, but I want to kind of go back and start at the beginning to kind of give a history of your guys' family in this town. Were you guys born and raised here, or how did your family come to Youngstown?
So I guess I'll take it out. So we were born in Bronx, New York.
A little closer.
A little closer. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were born in the Bronx, New York, and we moved here when I was 9 years old. What year was that?
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
The
yeah,
Bronx.
The boogie down Bronx. And so I was 9. I would say it was the late 90s maybe.
Yeah, it was mid 90s. We finally made our way out of New York and made our way down this way towards Youngstown. Our grandfather was down here doing some construction. Called my parents up in New York and was like, hey, there's more grass over here. Cost of living's a little different, slower pace of life. You guys should consider getting out the city. And, my parents jumped at it, being that, kids are growing. And I wouldn't say New York's like long-term place where you would ideally want to raise a family and bring them up. So we made this way probably back mid-90s.
Okay.
Made our way up to Youngstown.
Nice. And so, Jonathan, I think we were talking the other day. Was it your grandfather that had the shop downtown where you worked, or was that your dad?
In downtown?
You were telling me like you worked at a shop and a corner store or something like that?
And we had one inside. Was that Barley's?
Oh, inside of Barley's, yeah. So that was years ago. That was back when Vex Fest was going on.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
I do not remember that.
Federal Plaza. They used to have like this huge concert. They used to have 10, 15 bands come and they play right there in Federal Plaza. So we were inside the kitchen at Barley's years ago. That's when we had the pizza and the Spanish food selling $5 12 inches.
Okay.
So it was a crazy time back then.
So I don't know if a lot of people, I'm sure the people that know, but some people might not know. There's some pizza history in your family in this area too. You want to talk about that briefly? Because that's the first time I had, I guess, your family's food.
Yeah. So in New York, my dad used to work for an Italian guy named Pepe. And when he retired, my dad was about 17, 18. He bought the business off of Pepe, at that young age, right out of high school. So over the years, my dad would have like pastelillos and little Spanish dishes that he would add in New York City. And what was the street called again?
We were right under the train station around Stratford and Morrison in South Bronx.
Okay.
In the South Bronx. So, it just sort of evolved. And then when we moved here to Youngstown, my dad already had the idea of, I'm going to open up a New York-style pizza shop, which ended up being on Shihai and Jackson, La La Land, the east side, where, the story began, here in Ohio. So, and then eventually, over time, the Spanish food overtook the Italian food. But we do have, pizza roots. We know how to do the New York-style thin crust, 20 inches, rolls, calzones.
Still got that old-fashioned brick oven, sitting, waiting, possibilities down the line.
Yeah, because I think it was called Papa's Pizza, right?
Well, originally it was called New York-style pizza.
Okay.
And then it evolved to Papa's Pizza.
And I think it was in Boardman, kind of by the old Rowley Brothers.
Yeah, that was up on
Matthews
Road.
Yeah. It was because we live right there in Boardman, like by Walgreens, and I think it was one of the first meals we had when we moved into that house. I'm like, let's see what's around there. I'm like, what's this place? I never heard of this.
Yeah. But I still miss it to this day, since my dad, retired and, he's, had some open heart surgery, had some health issues. He had to take a step back. We still talk. I was telling you about the pepperoni rolls the other day, man. Hands down, I love Youngstown Pizza. I love but hands down, to me, we had some of the best pepperoni rolls in the area, for sure.
So, is there ever? Do you think that could ever come back? That pizza?
I mean,
every time I post something, somebody will comment.
Yeah.
Bring the pizza back. Bring the pizza back.
So I mean, if we had a cloning machine, yes, we would have been done it by now. But the God's blessed us with this, the way the business has been going, and every time we're like, we're making a move and we think we're just now getting everything settled in, it just gets busier and busier.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see Red Rican's been around 2 years, and we've already got 3 stores and 3 trucks, which we knew it was going to happen, but as fast and as quick and as popular as they become here in the valley, I mean, it's been pretty wild. So I would say yes, but I don't know about any time soon right now.
Yeah. So let's, like you said, 2 years, which is crazy to me. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think how popular you guys have gotten in just 2 short years. So we go back in time 3 years ago. Whose idea was it? Like to start was it a food truck to start? Is that where it started?
So, well, one of my favorite movies is The Chef, and in that movie, you had Dustin Hoffman and I forget the other guy's name. He was in the Iron Man movie, but he was basically a chef that had all these ideas, and the owner, sort of was old school. He was traditional. Didn't want to try nothing new. That was like our relationship with our dad, because he had everything with him was traditional.
Okay.
So, that's like the stuffed crust pizza. Everybody was like, stuffed crust pizza. Nobody knew about that back in the day. So, the Red Rican started from me wanting to do something a little bit different other than just traditional, which that's when, Mello came in. So I started it, not to get off track. I started the business, by myself, but then it started growing so fast. That's when I approached my brother Mello, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about how that story happened.
Years ago, I had my own place before COVID, where we were starting to innovate and get on some of the same stuff that he was talking about. So we planted the seed a long, long time ago, and just as conversation.
Yeah.
But over the years, we were all doing our own thing. Jeremy was doing his thing. Jonathan was I was doing my own. COVID kind of threw us into a whirlwind of we weren't sure what was going to happen. We were all pausing at the same time. So some of us started venturing off to more corporate roles and working for bigger companies that I feel actually helped the business grow, because we got to see kind of like the blueprint of how bigger businesses were doing it compared to us growing up in the mom and pop setup, and having some of that experience, and Jeremy getting into the technical and going to school for it, working for really big companies, and finally putting together that mix of stuff we planted a long time ago. Jonathan taking the leap and getting the truck, my brother bringing in some of the technical thing, and me, involving the blueprint that I got to see at some of these corporate companies, on top of always being behind the scenes and cooking. Mm-hmm. It just, we kind of knew, like I said, we were talking for such a long time that Red Rican has been building over these past couple years, but this is a conversation and something that's been in the making for over a decade now.
Oh, wow.
Even though we've been in the business for a little over 20 years, the conversation started a little over a decade ago of just planting the seed and watering it, coming back to check on it here and there.
Yeah.
And then after COVID, we finally were ready to take that leap, even though we were unsure how everything was going to play out, being that we were literally starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And jumping headfirst into it, no money in the accounts other than our initial investment. We went 100% in and said, we're going to make this happen.
And I tell you what, it's not to cut you off, but it's a funny story that I literally put my life savings into that first food truck. When I tell you my life savings, I mean,
had to just want to shake your head.
The lint in my pockets was on the table, when I started that food truck, and COVID happened. So imagine investing your life savings, COVID hits, and then
Restaurants
you can't
are
get
just-
your license, you can't get the
Wow.
wrap, we can't open up. So I was already starting in a negative. Then you fast forward, to when we finally got up and running, and just every event got bigger, busier, bigger, busier, bigger, busier, more phone calls. And it started off as a joke, because he had just started working for some company. And I said, hey man, why don't you quit your job and come work with me, And then it started off as a joke. A couple weeks later, he called me and he goes, hey, are you serious?
Yeah.
If I quit my job, he goes, what can we do? I said, hey, you start with me and you help me, I'll give you half the company. If I don't make money, you don't make money. We're in this together. And he said, look, I'll make you a promise. He said, you make me a partner, in less than a year, you have your first store opened up. 9 months later, we opened up in Niles.
Amazing.
And since then, it's been
Just full steam ahead.
Just full steam ahead, man.
So, Jeremy, what brought you into the mix? At what point did they say, hey, Jeremy, I guess you could join us too? And what? And follow up with that, and I guess this could go to all three of you.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I can work with family all the time, so I got to get into that.
We're
here
not
soon,
sure
but
we
yeah.
could either.
I'll say two things. You know, we all have different perspectives of our business, and you know, I've ran a Papa's Bakery that I opened up with my mom, and then you know, end up taking over the whole thing, and then moved the location to another location in Camel. But the way that I look at business and the Red Rican and everything is completely different the way that he looks at it, and then the way that Carmelo looks at it. Mello looks at it from a different lens of the food, the quality, you know, Jonathan is more just, I mean, his personality and his, you know, his funniness, his joking around, his likeliness, you know, to be out there. And, you know, I've never wanted to be out there. I'd like to be behind the scenes, kind of looking at everything and how things operate and strategy, and kind of like, oh, this is what we need to do to grow the business, you know, and then I'll talk to them about it. So my thing, what excites me is, you know, the things that no one sees, you know, like behind, because
I like to call him the Draymond Green of the Red Rican.
That's fair. I just read an article about him on Isaiah Hall of Famer. Because if you look at his stats, it's like 9 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists or something. But
he
he's
does
a Hall of Famer.
he does all the dirt, all the boring stuff that nobody wants to do.
he's very unlikable too.
Yeah.
So are you unlikable? All right, now it's coming out.
So you know he does all the like I said, you know, I do the marketing, the branding, you know, the advertising, the merchandise, the food truck stuff. I mean, obviously it's called the Red Rican, even though it represents, you know, all of us. It at the beginning it was just representing me, you know, but now that my brothers are on board, you know, now it represents, you know, all of us as a trio. But like I said, you know, he does all the logistics and systems and financing, and I got to ask him permission to go buy a pack of napkins. You know, I'm like, hey,
I think that's why.
Everyone needs
That's
that
where
one
we
guy.
knew we needed him.
Yeah.
Was we got to the point where we were growing at such a fast pace that we knew our like hands were tied. He knew he was out in the public. He was keeping up with the events. I was laying down some of the pricing, our menu, the dishes, and we were literally building everything. And like, man, this is moving so fast. We need someone to like start tying some of these things together, and you know, knowing that we had to start getting to the analytics point and seeing what it is we were doing, how everything was coming together, is when we finally, you know, had our conversation and reached out and was like, yeah, I think this, you know, it's time to finally completely come together. Let's bring Jeremy in. We agreed. You know, he was all for it. And there was a bigger picture in there too. It was not only Red Rican transitioning and growing into what it was, but it was also like the stage my parents were in to try to help them to be in position to like retire. And that was our final conversation leading up to finally coming together, was you know, almost like a buyout / takeover. Let's help mom and dad. Let's, you know, get them to the
big
point
shout
where,
out to mom and pops, man. They're
Right.
probably watching. Without them, they laid the foundation. They, you know, taught us flavor. They taught us culture. They taught us everything that the Red Rican represents. You know,
What are their names?
Carmelo and Jeanette Morales.
Let's go. Shout out.
Shout
both of
out.
them.
Yeah,
Let's go to some comments here real quick. Any of these names ring a bell to you guys?
Maria's my aunt.
She says, so proud of you guys.
Yeah, a lot of these are just loyal fans, loyal customers, you know, that support
There you
us,
go.
that love all our posts, and you know,
Everyone always talks about the pizza. I know somebody said, there he goes.
John Zell, what up, my brother?
Great food, awesome crew. Had it
Christopher
yesterday.
Golong from Thrive Mahoney Valley.
Right here. Heck yeah. Love you guys. Yeah, anytime.
My wife Leah.
That's your wife. Shout out. All right. Is it the three of you? You have other siblings?
No,
Just you three.
just us
it's
three.
the three of us.
Your parents didn't say we don't have a girl. You guys were too much of a handful.
Yeah, no, I think they stopped at 3. It was probably, we were a handful. You can imagine 3 boys.
So, all right, the people that are watching, obviously, I know a lot of your followers are watching and fans, but so if somebody's watching that is saying, all right, what the hell is Puerto Rican food? And what's different about Puerto Rican food? I know it's a blanket, pretty basic question. It's hard to explain, but if somebody wanted to come in and said, all right, well, what am I walking into? How would you explain Puerto Rican food?
Mellow Man, the chef, I'll let him.
Puerto Rican food, man. I think we're going to highlight some of the stuff that we want to separate ourselves from like other quote unquote Hispanic style foods. Being from New York, out there, we didn't know too much of there not being this type of food all across the United States. You know, being narrow-minded down there and seeing that big multicultural melting pot of different ethnicities and all kinds of foods available, it wasn't until we moved to Ohio where like, man, nobody. How is this even possible? Like, nobody out here is doing this. Nobody out here is representing. And I just kept thinking of what we call cuchifritos in New York. Those were like fast food, more like in between fast food and a full-blown restaurant. It was somewhere in the middle where they made that home-style food, but it was set up more steam tables. New York being a busy place, a lot of the items were sitting out, and people used to just go and like build their plates from beginning to end.
I think you would have loved it because growing up in the Bronx, there's a pizza shop and a cuchifrito on every corner all over the neighborhood.
I love going to New York City.
Yeah.
We go there at least once a year. I feel like I could go there once a year for the rest of my life and eat 10% of the food that's offered there.
Yeah, you'd be doing pizza reviews your whole life there and probably never get all the pizza places in New York City.
Never.
Never.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and we just wanted to like come out and remember a lot of the stuff we grew up on, and then bring out the food this way. I'd say our base is stuff that traditionally grows on the island. We have some rice, we got the beans, we got the plantains, and things that are accessible on the island that they eventually brought out to New York, being like a place where a lot of Puerto Ricans, we call them New York Ricans, moved down to the city and started bringing some of that culture, food, and flavor from the island down to New York. And again, growing up with all access to all of that and then making our way down this way and seeing that it wasn't available is what gave us that initial spark. We're like, man, nobody's doing it out here. I think it's time we put something together and start representing. Like I said, my dad came down here initially with that New York style pizza, but little by little we just started adding and implementing certain dishes that we knew were popular, and it went from like 100% 100% pizza, 0% Spanish food to 10% and 20%, and then little by little the other one started overtaking, and then that's when we felt like, I mean, there's definitely a crowd out here that hasn't had some, a lot of this food, and we were just looking to kind of represent and bring those flavors and that culture from the island, just in a more modern way, to twist what we learned from Puerto Rico, from New York, and Florida were the three places where I feel like that was a culmination of where we got our flavors and our dishes from. Were a mixture of the three places where we spent a lot of time cooking.
I will say that the main dish is, I mean, I wouldn't say the main dish. There's a lot of main dishes, but what kind of, stood out over time was the pastelillos.
100%. So that's where I got introduced to at the fair.
Before we were making them, I mean, literally
huge.
everything by hand.
They were about that
were
big.
Huge. So over time, once we got into the red, really growing Red Rican, we had to, obviously
Make a business decision.
get we couldn't keep making them by hand.
Yeah.
And the only way to grow, we had to downsize the pastelillos. But it is our dough recipe for the plantain, for the disc. And I think once we made them a little bit smaller and started these combination plates, that's what I think everybody's able to taste something that they're kind of familiar with, but with a new twist.
Like we're selling so much of these things that someone sits there with a quarter pound. Imagine like a quarter pounder, but then someone else makes, a spicy quarter pounder, and someone else makes a sweet quarter pounder, and then you're sitting there like, oh, I wonder what that's like, and that's like. But them quarter pound like pastelillos, you wouldn't be able to do that unless you got a hefty appetite. So the downsizing was more to bring a little more variety to
Okay.
like people having the options to try a little bit of everything.
Almost like a flight you could
Yep,
get.
you literally have a little flight version of pastelillos. We brought
if
you
you
some
wanna bring it
today.
out.
So that's a good segment. So they got a shit ton of food here. So some people might not know what a pastelillo is. So I guess this is a good segment to bring it over. We could show them.
I like to call it. I like to call it the Puerto Rican hot pocket.
That's tried. When I explained it
Yeah.
to somebody at work, they're like, "What the hell's a pastelillo?" I'm like, "It's like a hot pocket, but
I hate the
100 times
term
better.
hot pocket.
it's 100 times better."
I
Yeah.
have nightmares.
But
of
it's
the ham and cheese
relatable.
hot pocket.
Everybody knows what a hot pocket is, but it's
I'm gonna hold this up to
a
the
better
camera
version.
so you can see what it. Oh my God! How the?
See it? Oh, there it goes.
So we do have our classic like beef and cheese, chicken and cheese. I believe there's some 3 cheese. We have a special one that we brought out today, the birria
You hear that, Angela?
pastelillo.
My wife calls it burrilla. I was
Yeah.
corrected today, which if you watch my video when I ate their food for the first time, I just butchered every single pronunciation and I got called out by a couple friends.
So you know that's when we're going to be launching here with our collaboration with Freddie Bertos, which is a whole nother, part of the business that, we're starting to get into, which is, collaborations, man. I feel like that's so important to highlight the Valley's culture, whether it's Italian, whether it's Mexican, whether it's Japanese, whatever food you sell here in Youngstown. And I feel like I've never seen it done here in Youngstown. So us collaborating, and we do have some other collaborations down the road that, we won't get into today, but, we'll be posting later on in the future. But this first one with Freddie Bertos, it's going to be special. It's going to be something
He's on
cool.
there somewhere. I seen him
I
comment
did
a little
saw it.
bit ago.
Let's see if we can find him up here.
Shout out to Freddie.
There he goes right there, Freddie.
This one?
Yep.
Invite me next, Freddie Mexican foods. You bring the food, there's always an invite.
Yeah. So, but the great thing also about the brand of Red Rican is that, yes, we're a Puerto Rican restaurant, but I guarantee you, with how we are and the knowledge and experience we've had cooking all our lives, is that we can compete with any business. I mean, any business, and do that food with a Puerto Rican twist.
I like it.
We can go to a Japanese restaurant and make Puerto Rican sushi. We can go to a burger spot and do a Puerto Rican smash burger. We can go to a pizza spot and do a Puerto Rican pizza. So and who knows where the Red Rican will be in the future? But
I mean, what you did in 2 years, I can't even imagine what it's
Yeah.
going to look like in 10 years. So go back a little bit. When you what's the first event you ever did as food truck? Do you remember?
the first event was Penguin City.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shout
it was-
out Penguin
yeah,
City, our
shout out
buddies
Penguin
Richie
City,
and
man.
Aspasia.
I love doing Penguin City, man, and it was actually on their one. They hired me right before COVID, but that's when I couldn't get my license to do their grand opening when they were first going to open. Then fast forward a year, when they were having their anniversary, I finally got my license, and that was my first event down in Penguin City.
Okay.
So that was a good time.
So which one's this? Is this the beef or the chicken?
I should
They're-
say it
I
on-
think they're all.
That one's a mixture of
This is a
some of the birria and
birria
3
and the three
cheese.
cheese.
All right, I got to try this burger.
Well, let's crack some of these open.
Grab the tomato basil for the
that's
3 cheese.
3 cheese.
The birria's got to be one of these right here.
Yep. This one's the
that's
tomato
a
basil
birria.
for the 3 cheese.
So this isn't for the
That might be the birria.
So no dunking on this one. I'm just going to dive
Well, I mean,
in.
unless you want to try one of these other sauces with it.
Probably
I
Dunkin'
like
in
this cilantro
the
one a
mofo
lot.
or yeah.
This is probably my favorite. It's a, you want to explain this?
the-
It's like
the
a
coquille
cilantro
sauce.
and-
Yeah, that's a cilantro sauce in olive oil. Blend down some garlic, some onions, some cilantro, extra virgin olive oil, along with some other little secret sauce in there.
My wife's probably watching too. You want to talk real quick? Because I know I text him when you guys open the Boardman store. You do have gluten-free options, correct?
We do. We got
These
some
are not
gluten-free
gluten-free.
options. No, anything flour-based. But we do have like a lot of our bowls are gluten-free options. Of course, the plantain chips, the glazed plantains are all gluten-free. But as far as the Freddie Bertos thing, one of the first collaborations we're doing with them, and why you're trying the birria one today. Is that one the birria one? Yep, sure is.
I'm not talking because I'm just enjoying this, so don't mind me.
We talked initially, and we're just thinking, man, how initially we were joking and playing it like if it was a competition, but it wasn't necessarily a competition between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. It was more of like to highlight each other's cultures and show the differences, because a lot of people hear Puerto Rican food and the first thing they think of is, man, another Mexican restaurant in the area. And that was the whole point, was to highlight some of his dishes, highlight some of ours. But then we thought of a fun way to kind of do a crossover to where we would make a Puerto Rican dish inspired by something popular in Mexican food, which, as we know, the birria, like, you know, turned into a viral thing where all the restaurants started carrying it. And we thought, what best way to like combine some of that Mexican flavor, but do it Puerto Rican style, is where we got the inspiration for that. And then he's gonna do something highlighting being inspired by Puerto Rican food in a Mexican way, which we'll keep that as a secret for his, you know, his crossover here that we're doing with them.
Yeah, and then we got Joe Reese, we got
Shout out
Jeremy,
Reese Food.
we got Jamal Perry. That are going to be the judges for that.
Yes.
For that collaboration when it happens.
Soon.
That's coming up. He's finalizing
Yeah.
it with Freddie now to get an exact date, and then we'll be posting it. But shout out to the Glizzy Rider who made that all happen to
So,
begin with.
We're going to talk about that. So before we go into your expansion in the stores, we could touch on that because obviously there's just some ignorant assholes out there. Let's just call it what it is. There's ignorant assholes out there. And I believe it was when you posted your announcement, right?
Yeah,
that
our
you're
grand
coming
opening.
to Boardman.
Yep.
And you had somebody, I'm not going to repeat what they said.
Yeah.
But they made some racial comments. And I think this is a great example of turning something disgusting and ignorant and nasty into something great. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so obviously, the turnout wasn't probably what he thought, and something very positive came out of it. We raised some money. The community was made aware again that people like this do exist in the area, who just spread hate, and love is always more powerful than hate, and honestly, he gave us a bigger platform because that went viral. We had over 3 million views on there, and we gained probably 5,000 followers on social media, and something he thought was spreading hate only made us bigger, only gave us a bigger voice, because now a lot more people know who we are. And to see the community come together, and different breweries and reach out, and different companies reach out, to whether it was donating money, whether it was wanting to have an event to sell the Glizzy Rider shirt, they all came together and
Yeah, what was one of the first places to reach out was it the Five Fours?
Five Fours Distillery.
Five Fours
I got to
Distillery.
get out there. She's reached out. I got to get out there.
Collab with us, and they were selling a unique drink that day to help us, and taking donations to help go towards the same cause, like I said, that we're going to donate to here, from all the funds we raised from selling these T-shirts. But it was just literally a comment that I thought got lost in the positive support that we got in exchange.
100%.
And it did turn into something, like I said, and the public just reacted. We just said earlier, this guy's like a straight up comedian. So he started twisting, the initial name of the person into something like a Glizzy Rider, because this guy was, his profile said Glider Rider. He took a spin on it. And since, he didn't have no pictures or anything like that.
Real tough guy with a fake name and just a motorcycle.
Right.
Yeah.
So he laid down that picture to kind of post what the person supposedly looked like, and then it blew up into this big joke and more support over it.
And at first, I wasn't gonna post it because I'm like, I didn't want to make it bigger than what it was, but like I said, it's like the famous saying, God says, when somebody smacks you, you turn the other cheek, but I only have two cheeks. You know what I'm saying? So after the second comment, I said, I'm going to be a little petty. I'm going to go on my bag of tricks and go back to the 25-year-old, little Savage John, little Savage Red, and
FAFO is out
and do a little bit of trolling, but it worked out good because we're doing an event coming up soon with Christopher Colon in Thrive Mahoning Valley. I'm also in talks with Community Kitchen to donate some of that money to feed some of the, people in that in that community there, where I think they have over 200 people every day they give free meals to. So I'm setting that up, and whatever other money we raise, from the shirts, which if you guys are interested, we do have the shirts on sale. If you want to help a good cause, down at the Boardman store, if you guys want to support, that's only going to help us do more great things in the community with that. So
Your shirts are great too. I think
Yeah.
you do a real good job with your shirts. So, all right. So the food truck is wildly successful, and then your first store was it the Niles or Camel?
Niles.
Niles.
Okay. So was it just a natural thing? Like, okay, people love this food, we can make it into a store. Or?
We do. It was crazy because towards the end of the obviously the warm time of the year, we were struggling because we're like, dude, we're booming right now. Like, if we don't get a place opened up, or we're gonna lose our traction. And like at that time, that was our only income. I quit hand modeling years ago, so I couldn't fall back on that. And so we just happened to find the spot. Literally, me and Mello went, and there was 4 or 5 other people in the building signing the paperwork to fill it out to apply to get the building. And me and Mello looked, and we're like, look, while these people are here, let's fill this out. I literally drove straight to the
Office.
to the office and turned my application in, showed them our what we made in our food truck, and I said, look, we've seen all these people here filling out applications, we got to have this place, man. And he said, hey, everything looks good, I'll put it through, and when can you guys start? And I remember walking outside with him and hugging in the parking lot for a
High-fiving
minute.
Oh, yeah.
and chest bumping, and yeah, we knew. I mean, we were bursting at the seams at that point. Like, we were outgrowing even the truck, in that short of time. And we were thinking storefront, or we're going to have to figure something out, like a commissary type of thing, to where we go and produce this somewhere else, because there's not enough space at this point for as much events as we're taking on and as much food we were putting through, that we knew we had to get a location one way or the other. And then it was just now, it was like literally falling on our lap. We were doing events with, I forgot the name of the guy that owns Sunrise. So he
we were
owned
at
the amphitheater out there in Warren.
Amphitheater.
And we had such a good response working the summer there that we're like, Youngstown has Papa still at that point. We need to do what we're doing. Just get away from that area, since Warren, we had such a warm welcome. The Niles was almost like, I think we have to do this, and
So
then
where is it at in Niles? So for
on
people that
Vianna Road, 41 Vianna Road in Niles. If you know where that main intersection is, where McCully's Giant Eagle and Rallies, we're right there in that plaza, right in the middle of all of that.
And that was the
We had
Go-
somebody come the other day and thought, because we parked the food truck out there, somebody thought that the food truck was a Red Rican location
Yeah.
that we were
okay.
serving people
Yeah.
out. But we had to tell it's in the plaza, and then we also have our food truck parked right outside. So
So good. I remember. I think we talked a little bit, and then finally got to come out there. And if you haven't watched the video, I'm sure you see and hear this all the time. The reaction videos when somebody tastes it for the
Yeah.
first time. Like I feel like I kind of captured it. Like it was just like, what the hell have I? What did I just eat? And how come I haven't eaten
I'm
this
going
my
to tell
whole
you
life?
what, the best experiment was the Canfield Fair.
Yeah.
The first 2 days, dude, my dad talked about doing the Canfield Fair for, imagine, he had a Papa's open 30 years. And he always said, man, I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it. And then I'm like, look, I'd rather try it and then regret not trying it. So, we did it, and it was wild how we pulled, that Canfield Fair off. And for the first 2 days, I watched everybody walk by the truck, look at the menu from like 10 feet away because they scared to walk up to the window. And it was like I was selling rat on a stick or something. Everybody was just scared to come up. So I said, you know what, man? So like this end of the second day, third day, I said, you know what? I made them fry a whole bunch of pastelillos. I put them on a little platter. I chopped them up and literally sent one person this way, one person this way. And I stood in front of the truck saying jokes, handing out samples to everybody. And that third day, dude, it erupted at the Canfield Fair to
Wow.
where It was huge. They ranked us #1 food truck at the Camp Food Fair.
I voted you guys as
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best in the food last year.
and I seen the post, and everybody would come up and say, "Hey, if it wasn't for you giving me a sample, I never would have walked. I never would have ate at your food truck. I just would have kept walking by." And that was probably hundreds of people said that to me. So so I know
We
that.
did the same with the tres leche.
Yeah, with the
cakes.
tres leche cakes.
And
Yeah,
we have
the
some there.
Canfield
Have you
Fair
had
was
all the
actually.
flavors yet, or no?
I just had one. I think
Well,
it
we
was-
got some, Aiden. Bring them out here.
We got some. He got his headphones on.
Well, so was this your second year of the fair, or was this the first year?
That was the first year we
really
ever did it.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't
And,
know it
and,
was the
and,
first.
and just to get love from people who have been there 30 years, 40 years, to be like, hey, man, you guys are like the talk of the fair.
Yeah.
Dude, it was humbling, you know, because we're like, man, we talked about doing this, and then we're like, you know, how are we going to stand out with all these other great food vendors who've been here for 50 years, who are like staples in the fair? You know, how are we going to stand out? And, you know, we planted our flag, and people noticed us, you know, so.
It was my wife, because I was like the one person. I literally
Yeah.
walked by. I'm like, I've seen them on social. I'm like, I don't know, because I'm kind of a picky eater. I really am. And it was my wife. She was like, you should go try a pastelillo. She's
Yeah.
like, that's right up your alley. I'm like, all right, let's go. Holy
The
shit.
dessert truck actually launched for the Canfield Fair.
Yeah.
So you want to explain what these are?
Tres leches are almost like Spanish cream-soaked cakes, like different blends of milks, whipped toppings, some gourmet toppings on there. There's a guava jam on here. This one's a strawberry shortcake. You got the banana cream,
Ooh, I love some
some
banana
Biscoff and
You
pistachio
had
over
the
there.
I have not.
Okay.
I think I had this.
Is there some spoons over there?
So being
Are these your? I knew you said you had the bakery.
yeah.
Are these kind of your brainchild, or is it everybody
We
kind of?
originated with like vanilla, chocolate, just like simple ones, and then
Well, that-
Mello started taking it to the next level
But again, that
launching the varieties.
that's what the Red Rican was about. Was there's always the classic dishes, you know, but we wanted to expand. And like the example I gave you was like Pizza Hut with the stuffed crust and the pretzel. Like they're doing things that regular traditional pizza places, you know, weren't doing. There you go.
Like how? My wife hates the word moist, but how moist? Like you can't even explain it until you bite into it.
The banana is the number 1
Just
selling.
come on now.
Usually it was the classic vanilla, but our banana is our took the top spot right now. And then the strawberry shortcake, and then Biscoff.
So we started taking like a lot of. It didn't matter whether it was
Just
dessert.
talk. I'm gonna eat. You guys are just talking.
Yeah, it didn't matter if it was dessert or the food itself. We just thought of taking everything we knew tasted good, sold well traditionally, and then modernizing, deconstructing, rebuilding like different versions of whatever that was. So again, traditionally, I grew up only having vanilla tres leche. I've never seen, over the years, anywhere I went, I never seen any other flavors until more recently. I've seen people venturing out, and let's say these past 5 years, I started noticing a lot of other people trying to do some of the same thing. And the same thing with the plates and the pastelillos. You know, we grew up with either cheese or like beef, maybe chicken sometimes. And then we started playing more and more with the recipes, thinking of crossovers, thinking of other ones like that cheese one you tried.
I didn't try it. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I didn't try the cheese.
Man,
one
that
yet.
tomato basil, I would go home at the
stuff
end of the
like
day and like make a grilled cheese sandwich and dip it in like a tomato soup. So we thought of having a pastelillo version to where, you know, I think Jonathan's gonna post a video.
Yeah.
We hand make these sauces, the pastelillos, so he's gonna post a video soon. We literally make the sauce up from scratch, but it's reimagining a grilled cheese and tomato soup in a pastelillo and a homemade version of our sauce.
And what one of the things I want to touch on too is that, you know, we will start posting more videos and showing the process of how we make our food. I mean, there's a reason why we're one of the only Puerto Rican restaurants to ever be here in Youngstown. You know, you got like old school people like the Center Street Bridge where they got the ladies down there in the kitchen who do their thing. You know, you got Anna's up in Austin Town.
Are you guys gonna eat this? If not, I'm
she
gonna
no,
double dip.
you're good.
Okay.
You know,
I don't want to double dip.
Good.
you know, and but one thing about Puerto Rican culture that we want to change is that, at least growing up for me, it was always looked at like the cheap food, you know, the street food. And when you look at the process of how hard it is to sit there and make sofrito, to sit there and, make dough, hand cut them. We're not buying Goya disc at Save-A-Lot, to hand roll them, sheet them, fill them, cut them, wrap them. And you see the process, dude. It's a real hard process to keep
shout
up.
out to all of our employees, by the way.
How many employees do you have?
Learning this process.
Roughly.
Right now, we've added a lot. We're upward about 35, 36
Amazing.
and going. For people who want to apply, we have a great culture. Come in, work for us. We're a huge family. That's why I want to give a shout out to all the people.
That's literally,
Seriously.
we posted recently
This
as
is
like an
my-
extension of family. Like we spend day and night with these people over the past couple of years. So that's how we view it. And that's how we've posted a lot of our employees and our crew members as just that, as an extension of family.
I could speak to it because Jonathan was nice enough to invite me to your Christmas party at the new
Right,
Gorman
right,
spot.
yeah.
And literally, like I walk in, outsider, stranger. And it was
How much fun was that?
It was so
Everybody-
fun. And Jamal
Yeah.
Perry came down and we
Yeah.
just sat and chit chatted. I told my wife, I won't be long. I'll be back in like half hours. I think I was there like 2.5, 3
Yeah.
hours. And like you said, it just felt like welcoming and walking in. I say it all the time. A couple pizza shops, I feel like it's going to like an Italian grandparent's home. I feel like I just came over to like your guys' house on a holiday and you just sat down and had a seat at the table. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but we just want to shed light that, Puerto Rican food belongs up there with all the other cultures' food, and this is not just cheap street food. And if it was easy to make, there'd probably be Puerto Rican restaurants on every corner, but there isn't, and there's a reason why,
And this is a shout out for a lot of the Puerto Ricans already out there doing it or starting up, is don't undervalue your work and your food. We have a place out there too, where I'll go and sit down with my brothers and we'll go to the Chop House or we'll go to the Olive Garden or we were at Salvatore's, and we'll pay, $15, $20 for a piece of lasagna, knowing damn well we could go home and make a full tray for just a little more than that. But it's not the point.
Yeah.
And I think the same goes for Puerto Rican food. A lot of people like, hey, we can make this at home for $2. Why are you guys charging $3.90, $4 for one of these things? Well, I don't think some of the people are to the point where they understand everything else that goes into trying to own and operate a business, and the overhead and the employees and the utilities and our licensing fees. Everything turns into that a base amount that they work from, wherever else they're making them, taking it up to having an affordable product that we can still keep the lights on, pay the employees, and keep moving and kind of innovating and continue to add to everything that we're doing. You have to value what you do.
and creating jobs.
That's funny. I did want to read this real
It's
quick.
odd, don't you?
Love all the family photos in your
That's
shops.
super-
Never forget where you came from and who helped you. Family is everything. Edible Arrangements love the food on Saturday.
Yep. Shout out to Denise Ritchie for making that happen. Thank you.
But I tell you what was a huge help of us launching the Red Rican when it was just a truck was all the breweries, man. There's so many great breweries in this area, between Penguin City, Birdfish, 1547, which is, is creeping up there, is one of my favorite spots. It's a small little, spot out in Cortland, man, and really good people. The owners are amazing and they always show love. And, you got 5-4's Distillery and I've heard about a lot of other ones, which hopefully, they reach out or we have time to reach out. You mentioned some like Noble Creatures was a...
That's a good brewery downtown. You got Birdfish out there.
So, just shout out to all the breweries and
Shout out to Birdfish too, man. We spent a lot of time over these past 2 years.
You go out there and there, yeah.
Dealing with what's the guy? Is it John? Birdfish. A lot of these breweries were where we were posting up and doing something more than just picking a corner or something, getting licensed through the city and just posting up somewhere. These places having a crowd already, but not serving something like that, and then inviting us down there was one of the reasons why we caught as much traction as we did and started to get awareness like, hey, where are these people at? And we started having those conversations every time we would go to one of the places and start redirecting our traffic towards whatever location was open at the time.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that you guys are officially now the official score sponsor of our page.
Yeah, congratulations,
and
man.
I'm so hyped for that. Like, we take that pretty serious. Like, we're not just like gonna just Terry's Tire Town, like I'm not gonna just throw that out there to anybody. So we had Frank's Cafe first, who I love and love their food. So we purposely waited for the right opportunity, and it was funny.
I feel like it was meant to happen.
100%. I was literally just thinking. I was sitting at my desk at work, like eating lunch, thinking, wonder who I could. And then you text me about something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it was honestly like it was like
Just
meant
think
to be.
about it. I mean, you had us at the Camp Food Fair. I seen the post because I was obviously a fan. I was following you, and I'm telling our brothers, hey, Jeremy from Youngstown Pizza Reviews, look at the video he posted. And then I contacted you, said, hey, come out. But that's when I said, give us a little bit of time. We're finishing setting up. Then you came out, did the review. And then from there, it led to, other collaborations that we have now. And now being the, official sponsor for you guys.
I'm so hyped.
I mean, dude, we're hype about it too, man.
It's so hyped.
It's, we want to be a staple just like these other great companies, in the Valley and keep a standard and innovate and also give back to the community and represent our culture. If you go back and watch one of the first videos from Mimi Rodriguez, who, shout out to her, has been a big supporter and fan of ours, and she posted one of my first videos of when I was advertising my truck, and one of the main things I said on there was I want to represent for my people. And I feel like to this date we've been doing that. Hopefully we'll be the first Puerto Rican franchise out of Youngstown.
I didn't know if you wanted to go that is something you're thinking long term about, that it could potentially, because I think I really do think it could go,
whether we franchise it ourselves or the other people we get involved is up in the air. But we definitely see a Red Rican Pittsburgh, Red Rican Cleveland, Red Rican Columbus in the future.
For sure. I know you mentioned earlier, a good place to work. Here you go. Shout out to my bosses, the best ones. It's an honor to work for these gentlemen. I mean, that speaks right there.
And Brian,
yeah.
day one, man. And it's funny, Brian used to work with me at my dad's restaurant. And, when my dad retired, he went and got another job. But I remember him contacting me and saying, hey, if you ever open up your own place.
Sorry, Danielle, the secret's out. Hope your family don't hate you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He said, if you ever open up your own place, I don't care where I'm working. And people would say that. He goes, I will quit my job and come work for you.
Wow.
When I opened up the Red Rican and it was getting too much for me and my brother Mello, just us two to handle, I called Brian, and he literally said, he called me the next day and said, I put my 2 weeks in. When do I start? And he's been with us, and he's been a huge part of the culture and why the Red Rican. I mean, it's us three, but he's like the fourth brother.
Yeah, we set that bar, man, and we consider him literally like one of the brothers, man. We set that bar, and it's been him for the past couple of years, making sure nobody goes under that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's amazing.
shout out to Brian.
And going back to, you were talking about the cost and all that, and not wanting to be cheap. I think you guys are absolutely reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, for the quality of that food, like, I forget, the other day I got the loaded chicken bowl, a pastelillo, something else. I can't, and it was under $20. Like, I'm walking out the door like under $20 with tip.
And it's tough, man, because sometimes you see comments and like I said, sometimes my brother's got to wean me back, because like I want to communicate with everybody, because I feel like as an owner, you want to hear the negative and you want to hear the positive, and we're all for it. I can take negative criticism and say, hey, we didn't like this, Okay, well, how can we make it better? What didn't you like about it? And then we have meetings about it, and we go, hey, look, these are comments people are leaving, that there's not enough cheese, or maybe they had a bad experience, and what we try to do is
we went from
correct it.
Who is, man, we need to whoop this dude's ass to like getting together, like, hey, that's not right. Like, we're not even going to feed into this, and then, hearing like his playful rebuttals are like, man, you know what, man, like, not to say nothing is just as bad as going in the other direction. So let's just, poke fun at it, turn this into something.
Yeah.
And that's where it took off, man.
But sometimes people got to understand, when they say like, we posted our pastelillo packs for the Super Bowl, and somebody's like, "Hey, are these pastelillos made of gold?" And I'm like, he goes, "Oh, I remember, when this was, $1.50 a pastelillo." I'm like, "Well, brother, gas was 50 cents at one time. This is not 1988 anymore. So times change and things go up, prices go up, inflation, but I feel like our prices are fair, and we always
100% fair. And I go all
we
over.
always take it into consideration.
Very
so.
fair. We should mention the pastelillos because I know, like Super Bowl and like you mentioned, party spreads. You offer something with these, right? Which to me it's not only Super Bowls. I think we're kind of through football season now, but like
NBA
Daytona 500,
playoffs,
NBA playoffs, hockey playoffs, just
everything.
birthday party,
weddings,
anything.
graduation
birthdays,
parties,
catering,
get-togethers, poker tournaments. You name it. And we're working on new boxes and these were something that we started with, but eventually we're gonna have new boxes that the pastelillo packs for bigger orders are gonna come in, and we're always, like I said, we used to have square tres leche. Now they're round. Eventually we're gonna have tres leche cake packs, and we're always working on new ways to make the food better. And that's another thing is we love hearing that, hey, your food is great and it tastes good. Oh, you guys are the best, but we know because we talk about it, we still think it can be better, and we're always going to keep trying to make it better. So,
Yeah, we're not done. The quality is going to continue to rise. We're going to continue to correct things we feel like have to be in place. He mentioned the boxes, eventually the branding and the wax paper and the containers, and we're just looking to maintain what we have going right now, but keep taking steps to like elevate everything that we're doing. When we talk about analytics, Jeremy started pulling up stuff like, man, do you guys realize how many pastelillos we're actually selling and how we should reword and how we should market and how we should put together other things like the packs and stuff like that. But again, that's where I feel like, us coming together was like necessary in order for us to like thrive as much as we have been these past couple of years.
For sure. Is there any other food we should bring in, or are we good here?
we brought some pastelillos and some tres leche cake, so
Hell
so for all of us to try, and you could take some home.
So let's talk. So we talked about the Niles store. So after Niles
Was Youngstown, and that was when he was. Well, I'll let him tell it.
Well, I had the Papa's Bakery, and then that's when we got together and said, all right, we're gonna, let's run all of us together because
strawberry
there's
shortcake.
Yeah, strawberry shortcake. There's things that are operating better here that we're lacking, that we need, better options of food. We need this, we need that. So we decided to change, the Papa's, part from, to the Red Rican. So once we did that, then operating wise, we synced, all both stores, and then the one food truck, and then from there we started our other two food trucks, and then I was driving by Boardman, and seen a place for rent. So we're from Boardman. I graduated from Boardman.
Yeah, I
2006,
graduated from Boardman in 02.
and it's like a homecoming. I'm proud of where I went to school, and the people around here, all the people I played sports with, and they've known us growing up. And they would always talk about pastelillos and the rice, and just like any culture, when you're growing up with other friends and family, sauce and meatballs. My friend Rob Fernback, he's been literally paying our.
He's been in there every
rent.
single day.
He's been paying our rent solely.
Just by
I'm buying pastelillos
That's
and
hilarious.
rice. But yeah, they, then we, ended up getting the Boardman location, and right now it's been pretty good. This is our second week open in Boardman, and we're growing the employees and our team, and food truck season is coming. It's coming in hot. And
Yeah, we got the
we're ready for that.
we got the new trailer coming, and trust you, man. If I could drive around in the neighborhood like the ice cream truck, playing some Spanish music, tossing pastelillos out like the paper boy, I would, man.
So I read this comment earlier. I forgot to bring it up. We'd love to see y'all at some of our Youngstown Skate Park Association park events. So if somebody wants to try to book you guys or get you guys to come out to the event, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, they can call one of the locations, or they can just go on our Facebook page. Our website's on there.
You can either go to redrican.com and you can fill out, we have a submission form there, and then any feedback would come to our email, and or food truck catering at redrican.com.
And I want to talk real quick about the grand opening at Boardman, because I just, when I saw that, it was one of those, like, you see a post, you're like, yeah, that's going to be big. Like,
Yeah.
we live in Boardman. I graduated from Fitch. Wife graduated from Canfield. She didn't want to live in Austintown. I didn't want to live in Canfield, so we met in the middle and moved to Boardman.
Yeah.
My daughter went to Boardman her whole life, so we're Boardman people. And when I saw that, I'm like, that's going to be so freaking big here.
Yeah.
Like, as much as Boardman is, it's a lot of chains, you know, and I just thought it was a great thing. So you said that you were worried about, like, zoning. That's how you had cars lined down the street.
There were people putting their blinkers on. I wouldn't be surprised if people tried parachuting on the top of the building and climbing down the ladder to get in there. But it was wild our first 3 days.
Was that the busiest grand opening you've had?
It's the busiest. It's other than the Canfield Fair.
Well,
I think it's
technically numbers wise,
numbers wise.
Was the best.
busier. It was busier than the first two days at the Canfield Fair, but yeah, it was pretty big.
Do you guys have, like, holidays where you're busier? Like, I know pizza shops, obviously, you got the Super Bowl Sunday. I found out recently that Halloween was a big pizza day, which I didn't really put two and two together, but it makes sense.
Well, I'm going to say Thanksgiving through Christmas, between pasteles, rice, and, you know, obviously, I don't know if you got to try the coquito that we launched this year. You know,
What is that?
That's like the Puerto Rican eggnog.
No.
So we had a pistachio, Nutella, and, you know, the classic coquito this year.
Did you give me that at the party? Did you have it at the Christmas party?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
I think we
had-
talked about it. I think,
Yeah,
okay.
you know, and we started late, you know, because it was like, again, we're so, every time we think we're a step ahead, you know, we wake up the next morning and we realize we're 3 steps behind. And we started it late this season, but we sold over 500 bottles of coquito this year, and I think every year it's gonna probably double and double, especially with, you know, like I call my brother Mellow Man the chef. His creativity is through the roof, and I can only imagine what he has in store for
You
next
just lay
year.
in bed and, like, think of, like, all kind of different
He's,
things.
he's,
And again,
he's like the
props-
food rain man, you know.
Props to like mom and dad.
You need to make that as a shirt with this
Yeah.
face. I saw your face
Yeah.
on the shirt.
Yeah, I want to say it was a head start, man. They were, you know, paving the roads over the years. We were just coming right behind them, laying down the cement, and now we're driving on those, you know, we're riding on those roads that they initially laid out some time ago. That experience and taking some of that old school, being in New York and then having an Italian menu, but growing up with a Puerto Rican menu, then cooking somewhere down the line with, let's say, this Jamaican guy that showed me that they saute some of their sweet plantains with a brown sugar and flamboy them. We started taking inspiration from all cultures. Like I said, I keep mentioning New York, Florida, and Puerto Rico, but we're inspired by every culture that does their own little twists and has their own little identity of how they do things. We get inspired by that, and that shows in some of the meals. Like I said, traditional plantains are cut down, fried, but we zest ours up a little bit more. Thankfully, to a Jamaican guy that we met some time back.
Without Papa's, there would be no Red Rican. And again, that's why, you know, we love our dad. And, you know, like I said, my dad's old school, traditional, and you know, my dad spoiled us, but he made us work. You know, he taught us what it was. It'll mean more if you earn it versus it being given to you. You know, and I know my dad's probably watching now, and he's probably so proud. You know, and
My dad always had that business mentality, and I think the majority of the outlook that we have came from my dad. But adding some of this menu recently and having something as a foundation, like how to cook, you know, what to use, came from my mom.
Okay.
You know, she was always cooking up a storm. She's the one that initially started laying out some of the Puerto Rican menu that we started to add to what Papa's was doing when they were doing the pizza rolls, calzones. You know, they were making lasagnas and manicottis, but my mom would come in and add to everything my dad was doing. And my dad, you know, like I said, had the he did the same thing. He jumped head first into something, not knowing, just trying to take care of his family, and taught us kind of the base of
just think
what we
about
use.
our
Are you
slogan.
the only sibling?
I got a brother that's a year older and a sister that's a year younger.
Okay, so you're
I'm the middle child, so yeah, I'm the.
Yeah.
Being the
Shout out to the
youngest,
middle child.
being the youngest, I would learn from them on what not to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And things and
You're
and,
welcome.
And things,
Oldest had it the worst, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, but there was things that, you know, obviously looking up to my older brothers that I wanted to be like them, and then when they would screw up, it was easier for me to be like, oh, that's what not to do. And the same thing goes for the business. You know, we looked at it growing up like, I mean, we're all 4 years apart. Being 4 years apart, I mean, to me we're completely different. You know, we grew up almost in a different decade. You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, with how he treated things, and how he did things, and how we learned from our parents growing up, we saw in the business like, oh, I wouldn't do that, or, you know, I would do that, or let's keep this and let's grow on that.
Yeah, or
O-
these
over
people over
time.
here are doing things like this. That makes so much sense on what we're doing, like, and just start pulling everything from all types of places. Not only the experience we had, but just learning more and more and more as we were growing and pulling all the stuff to like at least get to the point where we're at. And you know, like Jonathan said a little bit ago, we're gonna continue to elevate this. We're gonna keep adding and refining everything that we're doing to make sure that we mean it when we say it. We want to be known as like the Puerto Rican business that started paving the way, and then hopefully some of these other ones follow suit in our area and start spreading through the valley and have their own twist on things and get to come out here and represent too, you know?
Hell yeah.
But you think about it too, is like I said, our slogan for our business is God Family Business. You know, you put God first, He'll bless your family. If your family's blessed, it'll trickle down to your business. And we try to live that way. Again, you know, nobody's perfect. And you know, it's all about making strides to be better, and you know, spread it through your family, your business, and your community, and hopefully, you know, everybody can take that model and, you know, put it into their business.
For sure. That's amazing. Let's read a couple more comments here. Boardman store is open.
Jim, we're open.
What are the hours and all that good stuff?
10 a.m. to 9 a.m., 7 days a week.
10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
9 p.m., sorry.
every day. Come
Heck
down
yeah.
and see us.
I had to ask you, what's WEPA? Is that what somebody said? What is that? You say that all the
It's
time.
almost like a celebration. Like, heck yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Whippa, yeah.
WEPA. Okay.
Whip,
Okay. I think you put it in codes, and I saw it out here, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
was it the Italian way? They say opa.
Okay.
opa.
And one more thing, I didn't talk about. You just launched a new menu item that you let me try a couple days ago.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I tell you, it's one of the best damn things I've ever had in my life, especially if you like a fried cheese. But it's fried cheese times a million. You want to talk a little bit about that?
It's limited on how much we have. This stuff is imported from out of the country, heads down to New York. We buy as much as we could to get it sent down here, but we started selling what we know as queso frito, which just means fried cheese, but it's a specific imported cheese that Hispanic people use that doesn't get any breading or anything, but develops a crisp coating on it just because of the type of cheese that it is.
Oh, so that wasn't a breading.
There was
that I
no breading
tasting.
on that. That was the melting point on the cheese. Starts to caramelize on the outside and almost turns it into like a curd before the center even melts. And then you get that crisp
You
with
see
that
my mind blowing in front of
cheesy
me. I literally
sponge.
thought it
There's
was
no
breaded.
breading. There's nothing on it. That crisp is the cheese itself. And we made a sauce that can go on whatever you like. If you like barbecue sauce, but it was a sweet and spicy blend of a guava barbecue that we made to kind of accent or add to what the fried cheese at the moment. You could dip that into anything, but
It's even this here. You got that guava. Take a
Yep.
little taste of that one. That's the
And
guava
I
to
could-
this leche.
I know this is un-American, but I'm not a big barbecue sauce fan. I always get shit on for that, and everyone makes fun of me. Just not my thing. I don't like ketchup, and I love that sauce because I was like, I don't know, I'm not a.
I know you say you're not a sauce guy.
I'm like, is there ketchup in here? And you're like, no, I don't even know what the hell was in it, but it tasted like it came from.
Yeah, it's a legitimate homemade barbecue sauce based the same way other ones are. The only thing is we add a little bit of sweetness with some guava. We add some heat on the back end, so you get a little bit of all that, the hot, the sweets.
So what is this?
Guava.
That's guava.
It's a mix between like a.
Do you guys have bad food? Do you have anything that isn't good? Jesus.
I don't know. You have to scroll through one of the comments.
Yeah. No.
I've never had anything bad, ever.
And a lot of the sauces, like we said, wepa, and that's like, like we said, almost like a yeehaw, a holler of excitement. And then he just started taking like words that we use and tying them to whatever sauces we were making. So the wepa, WEPA, is actually a whiskey pineapple. So
Okay.
We use the letters in it. The mofo.
The
is
mofo.
short for mofongo sauce.
Okay.
But people think it's
Yeah.
mother effer,
Yeah.
but it's the mofo sauce, and the rojo sauce is rojo's red. The guava.
The guava
barbecue
barbecue.
has got the red in it, so it's just a play on words.
yeah, the blanco's like a seasoned sour cream. And fun little story, because I see him sitting right back there, is our spicy Rican initially we launched as our ghost sauce because
Okay.
we did an event at the Metroplex for a Kelly
Pavlik.
Pavlik boxing event that was there, and he said, dude, I just want something spicy. I love your sauce. If you're gonna make something up for me, let's take it up a notch. I want some heat. So initially, what we have as our spicy Rican right now was called Ghost Sauce, because we made it for a boxing event Kelly Pavlik was doing at the Metroplex a while back.
Amazing.
But the spicy Rican was initially made for Kelly Pavlik.
But it was such a hit, we ended up just keeping it and calling it the spicy Rican.
Yep.
Then the coquille is,
It's the green for the frog.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this. Do you guys sell your sauces like by the jar yet, or by the container?
That's
in the
the
making.
next thing. That's the next thing. I
Because
mean,
these sauces could be like on a store shelf.
we have people, send us messages. Hey, do you ship to West Virginia, Connecticut, Michigan, and like I said, down the road, Red Rican is going to become
MLO.
a household brand.
This guy. Hey, Luke, I got an idea. How about you go?
Where are they at? They could be down
There's a
here
lot of food
chowing
there,
down.
yeah.
There's more here.
I said, and they said, we're not coming down there to eat Puerto Rican food. They're the worst. You don't want to follow them. No, I'm
Yeah.
just messing. They're good guys. I was making fun of him. So they did a live show from a furniture store, and I commented that Luke doesn't change his underwear, so don't let him sit on a white couch. So it's you got to take if you're gonna give it, you got to get it back. So.
I've lost some of them. I tune in every now and then.
I always laugh at how much hate they get, but I think it's entertaining, man.
Oh, they're great. There you go. Hey, Luke, I got a couple guys that'll come on your show.
There you go, man.
Isaac's cool at least. Luke, yeah, he's all right. I told you that hour would go quick, didn't I?
Yeah, no, it went fast.
Did I miss anything? Is there anything you want to talk about, or a little closing statement, like this is a presidential debate or
I
something?
personally would like to just say a big thank you to everyone that's been part of this journey from the beginning, supporting, sharing, showing appreciation to what we're doing, and coming in and saying, like I said, the overflowing positivity. We get way more people having something good to say, something positive, and that's what keeps us going, because another motto that we've been bringing up lately is stressed but blessed. This is a good problem to have, even though I feel like we're probably going to beat each other up in the parking lot afterwards, argue about something we got to do tomorrow, but where we're growing, we understand what's at hand here, and we really are just trying to have the best version of what we're doing out there.
Jeremy, anything you want to add?
I do want to say thank you to our families, which we sacrifice a lot trying to build this business, because we really believe in it, and we want to blow this up for sure. So to my wife, to my kids, to everybody, to my brother's families, we've sacrificed a lot. They sacrificed a lot with us. And what was the other thing? I forgot the other thing I was going to say. I don't know.
I mean, I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed us love. The city of Niles, Youngstown, Boardman, all the local breweries, doing their thing. You know, shout out to Mayor McDowell.
Warren,
you know, for
shout out to Odds. We forgot to mention.
Yeah,
Odds was
you
one
know,
of the first
AJ down
places.
at Odds, man. One of the greatest dudes I've met since I started this business. You know, always giving back to the community. Like I said, you know, Mayor McDowell, Mimi Rodriguez, you know, the Orca, you know, Christopher Colon with Thrive Mahoney Valley. You know, I'm sure I'm missing, you know, like I said, and all, you know, we see videos of people cooking food in their garages, and hey, man, we support everybody. Ladies on Center Street, keep doing your thing. You know, Anna's Cooking, keep representing. You know, Red Rican, you know, we're all here representing for the culture, and anybody who supports us, has been supporting us, and will continue to support us. You have our love, you have our prayers, and, you know, we hope that, you know, we can continue to make everybody proud here in Youngstown.
Hell yeah, dude. And I think that's a perfect place to end. I can't thank you guys enough for coming down here and the love you've shown us and
Thank you
jumping
for
on
the
board
invitation.
to be a sponsor on our page. I'm so hyped about it, and I'm hyped for all the stuff we got planned down the future.
Yeah, I'm ready for one of these pizza reviews, man.
He's jumping in. We're gonna get Jonathan. I might have to get a bigger car. We're two big guys. I got my little Nissan kicks. We might need your truck.
We'll do it in the Super Duty, man. We'll do it in the Super Duty.
Might need your truck.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate you. If you have not been to Red Rican yet, A, what the hell's wrong with you? B, now's as good a time as any. 3 locations: Niles, Youngstown, Boardman. All the info is available on redrican.com, and you'll be posting where your food truck's at. Follow them on social media. That's what I always tell people is the easiest way to follow a place and see where they're going to be. Just follow them on social media. And excited to see where this thing grows, fellas.
Yeah, appreciate it.
you coming on.
Thank you.
God
Thanks for tuning in.
bless everybody who tuned in tonight.
See you
Love
guys.
you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on